La 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 la. So this video is about passion. Is it weird when I look at the camera and then I look at myself? I don't know, man. Maybe one day somebody would actually like answer. So here, another conversation we had that kind of clicked in my head. So we were discussing passion and me personally just wanting to do some kind of work the way I don't know the way I see could work. I mean, like you're working with me, right? And if, if you want me to do a job, wouldn't you want me to do a job the best way I know how, the best way I know how to approach? By the way, look at this cutie. Such an awkward fucker. So yeah, it's just working with people, kind of like, you know, I'm relying on you, I'm counting on you, I'm trusting you. There's rapport, there's all kinds of things that we establish with ourselves. So, so here I was talking to her about passion, and she kind of created a distinction between what you're doing and how you're doing it, and the difference between the two passions. And that's where I kind of like I stopped for a second and I was asking her, it's like, you know, because she was talking directly. We were discussing, and again, like it was a factory that does plastic tanks, right? So so the first thing I thought of was, no, you're right. What we do is something fairly just we do plastic tanks. But whatever we do right now, shouldn't it have like some vision for the future? And and for me, it's always like, where are we going? Why are we doing this and where are we going? And the guys that I was working with before didn't really have a vision. More like they just wanted to sell more money. They wanted to do more things. And as I actually tried to like engage with them, the more I engaged with them, the more they kind of like got excited for the things that we could potentially be doing and the ideas that can come out of it and the whole just engagement with why I wake up every fucking day, go to work, do this, and come back. I don't know, man. There's a big part of me that goes, if we're not really approaching the moments of the day as the moments that they truly are, if we're not really approaching the moments of the day as the actual pieces of ourselves, because every moment is contributing to to us, to our existence, and we're using it to manifest our reality. And the word manifest is like a lot more detailed than people would like to actually. People ruined it, but ultimately, like manifestation means literally an indication of the existence, like reality or presence of something. When we're in the moment, that's where like everything is. When the whatever's happening is the manifestation. And when you wake up and you go work, when you wake up and go home, when you finish work and you go home, and everything that you're doing and everything that you're trying to like engage with and everyone that you're trying to kind of like see, are you not really like looking forward to being present with them, or are you just looking forward for that thing to happen? And then when it's done, you go and you do another thing. And I feel like it's not about passion, it's just about like the truth behind why you're interested, the truth behind why you would actually want to engage with whatever it is that you have to. And again, I've been quoting this video a lot because like it's amazing. And for me, it's like I'm genuinely interested in almost everything that I do. And I try my best to make it a thing, especially when I'm aimlessly just riding my bike or walking in the morning or trying to like stretch in the morning when I'm all barely like involved in it, but I try my best to kind of like breathe differently. And you know, when you're, it's just, since you're doing something, might as well do it and be there while you're doing it. And that has been my reasoning for the past couple of like years. It's been my reasoning for the longest time, but I never truly bonded with it. I never truly like emotionally understood what it means to kind of like do something fully. Back then, I think I misconstrued it to do something aggressively or do something like with power or speed or like commitment or something like this. But I never truly understood Because the reality is, like, being present is literally like slowing down, taking taking those deep breaths on purpose. Like while I'm speaking, I speak in a much calmer tone. That kind of sets the pace. I'm no longer rushing to kind of find the words. I'm able to like express myself differently. Let's see if I can finish this video with the same tone of voice. But the passion that she was discussing is the difference between approaching any project with passion or passionately versus passionately approaching a project. And she was right with one thing. They were a plastic factory in, and I'm not belittling anything, but they're a plastic factory kind of like in the middle of nowhere, in the desert in the middle of nowhere. And anything could all like the sky always has limitless potential, but it really depends on what you're working with. Like as much as I want, for example, a corn stalk to reach the sky, at maximum it's going to reach 10 to 15 feet. There are theories about like vibrations and music and how basically they could actually, guys, the cats are fighting. There are theories on how you could actually like enhance, but like a corn stalk is a corn stalk, man. At maximum it's going to reach 5 meters or like 14, 15 feet, maybe 20. That's it. How much of the sky could you actually reach it? And I think that's what she meant, where like because I'm passionate about things, I started creating all kinds of potential. And even though the potential is there, like right, like what we have, we could have worked with, we could have like reached a different market, we could have like collected different sets of data, we could have understood, we could have assessed our approaches, we could have created those testable like materials. I mean, when I'm saying materials, I'm saying like the materials that we're going for are basically the advertisements and how we're advertising and the tone of voice and the type of advertising. We could have done all of that stuff. But when she looked at me and she was like, was it really necessary? I'm like, I said yes. And she said no, because like all of this, all of these extra things, what they ended up doing is complicating what they saw as something that's working and normal. And so for them, I can't blame them for, I probably overwhelmed them a lot more that I could ever understand. Because me kind of jumping into these things and getting excited for them and trying to explain it to them instead of telling them to leave me the fuck alone to do it, trying to include them because that's what they wanted, right? But I could have included them in a better way, in a different way. I could have communicated the storyline in a simpler way. I could have started from the beginning with a better understanding of how I'm planning on doing things and how I'm planning to have them on board as I do things. I could have done a whole lot of things differently. And I could have still done them with the same amount of energy that I wanted to do the whole thing. But it would have been more something catered to the size that I'm working with, to the actual factory that I'm working with, to the people that I'm working with. And I'm not trying to like say anything in a belittling way. I'm just saying like you can't go to teach calculus to, I don't know, a first grader. You have to establish fundamentals first. And I think with me, I kind of like jumped into everything that I knew and I wanted to experiment with it for my own personal growth. And I forgot that the people around me kind of have to keep up in order for me to be able to like get the job done. And even though we agreed to a whole lot of stuff before we started, it was a bit too it was a bit too frustrating for me to kind of slow down maybe. And that's basically where most of my energy was kind of like being pent up and built because I wanted to do more and I found myself kind of like not able to do it. And instead of adjusting the plan, adjusting my interaction, finding a better way to communicate what I was trying to like, finding a better way to build rapport, to like establish the things between me and the people. I would have been like, I don't know. At least I would have had a paying job where I don't have to stress on anything. Anyway, I look at it, if I had given them the bare minimum that I would have wanted with passion, which I thought I was, but now that I look at it, I could have done a lot things a lot more simpler. And I think that simplicity would have been more than enough for them to actually get what they want without them actually interfering with anything, and would have allowed the whole situation, would have given them more peace in what they were trying to do. I don't know, man. I really wish them the best. And one thing that truly upsets me is that, like, I really think we had a good plan and we had a good team going. Team, no, I really think we had a good plan going forward, and our thought process was like on track. But the resistance I got, I just couldn't understand, and I think it's because I just like didn't care for them to understand. I just was like, either do it or you don't. Like, do your thing. Don't worry about it. Let me do mine. That's where like my kind of like resistance happened when they were resisting. And that's the difference between like approaching something passionately or approaching something with passion. I'll get closer to this concept more and more as we progress. I'm sure I will. But approaching something passionately and approaching something with passion, I can see a clear difference. I'm just not really like, it's not really as personal as it should be with me yet. But it will be. Thank you guys.